Ads become a total gamble if your foundations aren't solid. But if they're done right, they're the quickest way to simplify your client acquisition and finally scale without burning money or time. Now, my name's Liam, and over the last few years, I've built multiple businesses past $100,000 per month, and I've personally invested over $2 million at this point in paid ads. Now, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the foundations that you have to have in place before you spend a penny on ads. And this is going to ensure that every single dollar that you do invest actually lands you clients without you having to risk everything and losing all of your money. Those of you that stick around for the entirety of this video, I've actually got something special for you at the end, so make sure you stick around. But with that said, let's get stuck in. Now, despite what most people believe, ads are actually very easy. And the only few things that we need to look at when we're running ads is how much is it costing us to book a call with someone who's actually going to be qualified, and how much is it costing us to acquire a client, okay? How much money do we have to spend on ads before we actually land a client that pays us money? Now, the thing that most people ignore about ads is they have all of this emotion tied to it, right? Where they are spending, let's say, $100 and they don't get any results. And what do? They turn the ads off. They freak out. They start to panic. They go, oh my God, this isn't working. I need to turn this off. And then they continue going down the route, like sending cold email and all of these other painful things. Now, the thing with paid ads, what we have to do is we have to remove all the emotion, and we have to understand, like I said, these numbers here, so that we can then feel okay spending this money. And this is what I want to get into. It's the maths behind running ads that actually makes all of the difference. Because if you don't have these maths in place, then nothing is ever going to work. Now, the thing is, when you understand the maths behind the ads that you're running, not only can you start to forecast where you need to be or what you need to be spending to achieve the goals that you've set, but you also then start to understand whether or not you're within KPI, whether or not your ads are performing the way they need to be or should be. And you also get to remove the emotion from running ads, meaning it's not as painful to run because you can see them working in real time and you actually have a strategy and a game plan behind you. Now, a quick overview of what this is. These green numbers are the numbers we're going to change and adjust. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to map out how much money we need to spend to book a certain amount of calls, to then close a certain amount of clients, and then show us how much money and profit we're going to be collecting over the few months that those clients are then with us. Now, using this matrix, like I said, gives us that framework and that structure to follow, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works. So up here we have ad spend. Now, this is obviously the money that we're spending every single month, and we have cost per qualified shown call. Now, this is how much it's going to cost you on average with a B2B business, someone who's going out there and acquiring clients for a high ticket service. You know, we charge $15,000, so we usually end up paying around $300 to get someone on a call that actually shows, okay? Now, our close rate is nowhere near where it should be right now. This is something that we're proactively working on, and it's probably one of the biggest bottlenecks I've faced for a while. But right now we're closing at around 15% of the leads that we are actually speaking to. Now, the leads that we're getting from $10,000 in spend works out to be around on average $22 per lead. So we're collecting around 455 leads across the month. Now, from these leads, we have appointment setters dialing them, booking in more calls, and that doesn't account into this number here. We also have long-term nurture campaigns through email, which I also haven't accounted for in this number here either. And it shows you how many qualified and shown calls we will take that month if we were to spend $10,000. Now, at a 15% close rate, we should then sign 5 clients from those 33 calls, meaning our cost per acquisition is $2,000. So that is what it's costing us. It's costing us $2,000 to collect the cash that we're collecting from our clients. Now, let's get into the most important metric that you have to have in place if you're going to be running paid ads. Right now, we charge $4,000 per month for 4 months. Okay, so we're collecting $16,000 in cash at around a 60% gross margin with team, software costs, that kind of thing. Meaning at the end of the 4 months, we're left with $9,600 in profit from every client that we work with after costs. Now, this means if it's costing us $2,000 to acquire a client through paid ads, we're getting almost a 5x return on every single dollar that we spend in ads. Now, this removes all the stress for me because I now know that I can go and spend $2,000 on ads before I have to worry about landing a client. But this is where the biggest problem comes in. So what I see a lot of the time is most people, they're trying to run ads and they are charging like $1,000 per month. And on average, someone stays within 3 months, which means if you're using the same metrics that we've got right here, you are collecting $3,000 over the lifetime of working with a client. You're paying $2,000 to acquire a client, and your gross margin is 60%, meaning you're now losing 10 cents every single time you spend $1 on paid ads. So those metrics just don't work. So this is why it's so important that you price the right way with paid ads, because if you don't have that wiggle room, you don't have that margin, and you're not collecting enough cash, then you're going to really struggle to see a profit when your cost per acquisition is $1,500 to $3,000 in some cases, right? Depending on the offer and depending on the niche. So what we're actually spending per month is around $20,000 right now, okay? Which gives us 67 qualified and shown calls, around $300 per call, a 15% close rate, and then we will close 10 clients on that. Now, the best part about this is this doesn't account for paying fools. This just accounts for the $4,000 in cash collected if someone was to go on to the payment plan. Now, what would happen over the 4 months of working with clients, and if we was to continue to spend $20,000 per month and we're working this system essentially, is month 1, we collect $40,000 from our 10 clients that have then paid us $4K each. Month 2, we've kept the old first month of clients and we've signed now another 10 clients. We've got 20 clients total, all paying us $4K each. So we're at $80K revenue. We now have month 3, 30 clients, and then month 4, we have 40 clients. And because every client stays with us at least 4 months, that means by month 4, we would be collecting $160,000 in cash from the same $20,000 that we're spending every single month. So obviously over the 4 months, that works out to be $80,000 in spend in ads, but we would have collected over those 4 months over $400,000 in revenue. And in profit, that works out to be around $240,000. So you can quickly see how this starts to scale. And as long as we're collecting this cash, and as long as we're booking calls for this number, and as long as we're not going beneath this close rate, then we're at a pretty healthy lifetime gross profit to CAC ratio, meaning we are going to be profitable in the ads that we run. Now, best case scenario is we improve our closing, which we're obviously working religiously on right now. Bringing it up to a standard of 25% would bring our CAC down by $800, which then massively shoots up our lifetime gross profit and our CAC ratio to almost an 8x ROAS. And you can see what this number does alone without spending more on ads and without decreasing the cost per qualified and shown call, and without even collecting more cash on the front end or the back end. We've now shot our revenue numbers up just by increasing that close rate. And the same works for this. If we was to keep our close rate the same, but we was to bring our cost per call down, we're obviously going to take more calls in the month. So these are the metrics that we need to worry about. We need to look at what we're closing at. We need to look at how much it's costing us to book a call. We need to look at what our cost per acquisition is. But once you have this system and you have this math in place, Facebook doesn't become a game of guessing. It doesn't become a game of let's put money in and hope it works. It's a game of these are the numbers we have to hit. And if we don't hit them, we need to turn the ads off because it's not working. We need to go back to the drawing board. And this is what no one's doing. No one is looking at Facebook this way. Everyone's playing it like this gambling game, going to the casino and putting all their money on black, when the reality is you need to have some structure to it. And you also need to be charging enough and collecting enough cash on the front end for you to then make it profitable. And look, let's say you're trying to get to $50,000 per month. We can actually reverse engineer it, because all we need to do is, let's say you're charging $2,500 per month. Over the 4 months, you're collecting $10,000 in cash. And let's say conservatively, your margin's around 50%. Now, if you're selling info, it's probably going to be much higher. If you're selling agency services, it's probably going to be around 50, 60, ideally 70%. So we'll keep it here for now. But let's say you want to get to $50,000 per month and it's costing you $300 per call and you're closing at a 15% rate. That means that you're signing 5 clients every single month. You're collecting all these leads that you can go and dial and try to set as well. So there's more opportunities right here for you too. But you're booking 33 calls, you're signing 5 clients, and it's costing you $2K to acquire a client. Now your lifetime gross profit is $5,000 per client, and you're collecting $10,000 over the lifetime value of that client too. Now your ROAS and your CAC ratio isn't that great here. It's pretty low. So I'd obviously work on your close rate to bring that down. I'd work on your margin. I'd work on the cash that you're collecting, maybe try and extend this to 6 months, for example. But if we want to get to $50,000 per month, like I said, it's a game of maths. We now know that every single month we're landing 5 clients for 10K of spend, meaning month 1, we collect 12.5K. Month 2, we're collecting 25K. Month 3, we're collecting 37K. And month 4, we're now collecting 50K. But the best part is, you then sign another 5 clients, and then the first round of month 1 clients fall off. And so you now stay at this level of consistently managing 20 clients per month, meaning you're now making $50,000 per month. So this is the game you need to follow. For those of you that stuck around to the end, I am going to leave this in the description of this video. So you can go and check it out yourself, put your numbers in, have a mess around with it, see if it starts to make sense for you. And hopefully it reduces the frustration and the emotional side of running ads for you and makes it a little bit more structured and a little bit more of a game plan and a strategy. Now, if you do want to learn more about paid ads, we actually have a workshop coming up very, very soon. I'm going to leave a link down to that in the description down below. You can go and get your ticket. It's like $27. It's me for 2 hours deep diving into systems just like this, showing you exactly how we go out there and actually land clients. So I highly recommend you grabbing your ticket and making sure you secure that spot. But other than that, I hope this helped. YouTube recommends you actually go and watch this video. So go and check that out right now.